Do you live in the US and want fast, fresh and tasty meals without the hassle of shopping or all that hard work preparation? Well, don't you worry, as a lazy man, I've got you covered. Try America's #1 meal kit service, HelloFresh, and get yourself fresh, pre-portioned ingredients delivered direct to your door. So why not eat well, stay healthy, and avoid the cost of regular takeout by trying HelloFresh? Just click the link in the description below for a special limited time discount and free shipping as well. Enjoy. We never doubted him. He's always been our guy. Guy Vaknin is in the form of his life. He's found a purple patch and he's helped us away from danger. We never said a bad word about him. The last episode did not happen. You're going to agree with me on that one. Now let's go and see if he can help us to another miracle as we chase a place at Wembley in an FA Cup semi-final. Won't be easy though, this one. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 81 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We have got some big news as we return for a big double header, and both games are against Antonio Conte's Chelsea. It was the source of our first win of the season away at Stamford Bridge, but today we face them at home in the Premier League and away in an FA Cup quarter-final. Our first real test in that competition, we'll see how we get on. But first things first, the new tactic is flying, and we are starting to score goals and stay consistent at the back. We'll have a look at all the results since the last episode and we'll play these two big games. But first, we've got to go back a few weeks because we have had a really interesting spell. And the first bit of news involves the current club we've just beaten, Leicester City. Let's go and have a look. The reason we're talking about it is because on the 1st of March, 13 days ago, this happened. We got offered an interview at Leicester City. We went and attended it and found out that they're in a worse financial position than us. Not sure what's happening to all the money in the Premier League. At the time they were above us in a league. That has since changed. We'll talk about why in a moment. But I found it really interesting when the board was struggling to understand how we were in a relegation battle, that we were getting interest from other clubs for a great performance at Palace. Now, I see it as a bit of a sideways step. At the time, I was probably looking at it and seeing which club gives us a better chance of staying up. And if you have a look at where they are at the moment, they're basically where we were when we joined Palace. It's a largely aging squad with a few young players with promise, but we've still not actually had a response from the job interview. They're still currently managerless. We'll see if that comes in the episode. If it does, I think I know what we're doing, and it won't be going to Leicester. Let's go back to today, though, and the two big games. We'll have a look at what's been happening on the pitch since you were last here. And the very simple description of how things have been going is very good. We've played 5 competitive games. We've won 4 of them. The only one we've lost is to the probable Premier League champions. And we haven't conceded a goal in any of those wins, which is even better. So you were with me as we showed real signs last time. We were very good against Fulham. After that, we had a very lucky draw because we played Blackpool, who were a championship side in the FA Cup, but they were bottom of the championship. They hadn't won in about 15 games and their confidence was lower than ours. So we managed to take advantage. The tactic worked a treat and it is starting to really gel now. So I think no matter what happens the rest of this year, we found our style for this Palace side. It was a 7-0 win. Ribeiro got 4 of them. Vaknin came off the bench to get 1 as well. And Campbell and Esnall both scored 2. We then kept Manchester City to 2 and they were late goals. I thought it was a good effort. We then played the friendly against Adu Den Haag. I picked the strongest side possible for the friendly. I wanted a competitive game and we didn't really get one, to be honest. They had probably a championship level team out, but we just put them to the sword as we did with Blackpool. And more evidence that that tactic was working followed because we won 4-0 away at Millwall in the FA Cup. They were second in League One, really pushing for promotion with again a championship level team. We put them away easily. A hat-trick for Guy Vaknin, 1 for Ruben Pulido, who opened the scoring. He's starting to pop up with some goals as well. But a really good victory, a really good performance. And that was backed up twice this month as well. We played 2 sides in the relegation zone. And much like that Fulham game against a team in and around us, we took advantage. The same scoreline against Everton, 3-0. Very similar performance in truth. Jankovic made 2 big saves early on. Wasn't called upon after that. But Guy Vaknin, Ruben Pulido and Chris Lewis got a goal each. And then a big 1-0 away win at Leicester last weekend. Guy Vaknin with the winner. It could have been more, but we've got the good combination now. A goalkeeper in form, centre-halves that are settled and playing well, and a striker that just cannot stop scoring. So Guy Vaknin, since you were with me, has gone from 7 to 13 competitive goals. It is changing very quickly. He's now our best striker at the club. And with what we've mentioned before here is a very good run-in. I know it looked awful over the festive period, but we were playing all those difficult top 6 teams for the second time. So I'm looking up rather than down now, albeit that could change if we lose this one, because we are only 5 points clear of the relegation zone, and this is sort of our game in hand. I'm not expecting many results, as Haaland is still going nuts with 38 goals in 30 games. Even more impressive that he didn't score a bucket load against us. But let's go and get through to the fixtures. Double Chelsea. I'd rather win the second one if I'm being honest. But this is our first time at home to a very good side since we've changed this tactic and started to click. So let's get the closing down on. You can see they've got a lot of original players and a lot of players that are real in game. So a lot older as a squad. They are one of those that continue to offer contracts rather than moving on to a new team. And maybe that's why of the big 6, they're the one that are struggling. Let's go and get through to our 11 though, because this is what we've picked for today. And I think my only change from last week, and the last 2 weeks in fact, is that Clemenson comes in at right back for Rodriguez. Slightly more defensive, slightly better form, and to be fair to him, he is really improving off the pitch. That means our 11 is Jankovic in goal. What a keeper he's becoming. And it's a good job that he's playing well as well, because Linares, who we got in and then loaned to Atletico Madrid, Dougie's got his man eventually. He's passed a work permit now. He's been granted it for the rest of his contract, and he will be back next season, giving us 2 good goalkeepers without a new signing. Clemenson and Esnalt the fullbacks, with Richards and Pulido a centre-half. I've got to actually say, I know I was a bit worried when Kelleher left the club. I feel the back four's more balanced like this. Esnalt is offering a lot of left-back, giving us a bit more of a physical team as well. 3 defenders who can compete in the air. And I really like the way it's working. So maybe Dougie knew all along that Kelleher was the problem. Gruznov and Mitran are the wingers, with Rothwell and Castro in centre midfield. Castro is now becoming a good Premier League winning midfielder, and he's working his backside off in there. Vaknin and Ribeiro up front. Vaknin's in great form. Ribeiro's playing well. Lewis is making an impact off the bench when need be. And we've even got players like Keita and Campbell who are doing really well when called upon. So great to see us in form. I would argue it's the first time, as we reach the sort of near 2-year mark at Crystal Palace, it's the first time I'm really enjoying it. I said that before the Norwich game in the last episode, didn't I? I could have come back and showed you games against relegation contenders, but I wanted to give us a big test. So double Chelsea it is. Let's start with the league game. Let's go and get through to it. 1 change made and see if we can keep up the form. Well, here it is with a lot of recognisable names as we mentioned, but the one I want to shout out is Jabari Roberts. He scored against us before for Chelsea. I think he scored 2 in the game we won earlier in the year. He's a really good player, only about 22, 23. And he's about 10 times better at what Castro does. So he's the man to watch out for in my opinion. Let's go and get the lads to impress us into the first half with Ribeiro inspired. I'm hopeful we can go positive here. If it looks bad, we'll drop early doors. But I want to get on the front foot. It seems to be really working at home at the minute. So let's get into it. 4-4-2, the classic Premier League tactic, is working. And here we are with just over a quarter of an hour on the clock. Mitran picking the ball up for Castro, who gives it away with a poor pass, but then works hard to win it back for Ribeiro, who hits the woodwork. We did that in the game against Everton as well when we won 3-0. What was that goal kick? It went straight out for a throw. But we did that against Everton. We won 3-0, but we hit the woodwork 4 times, I think. And Ribeiro was 2 or 3 of them. As Mazambo cuts in here for Chelsea. Back to Roberts. He hits the woodwork now too. I mentioned his quality. Really cool finish and inches away from being perfect. As Ribeiro up towards Vaknin. He's got himself in. Guy Vaknin forced wide, but holds it up for Gruznov. Deflects over the bar. It doesn't. Pina keeps it in. Good goalkeeping there. And it stays 0-0. But you can see again, we're doing well on the stats. We're giving as good as we got. And we see the difference between this tactic and the last one. The other one is settled in okay. We were doing all right. But we didn't look like we had a goal threat. Here, now we're flying, we do. And the ball's on the other foot because that is an awful tackle. Reece James will be sent off the skipper. Kieran Tierney is on with an attacking player sacrificed. And now we play 10 men. So let's hope it works out. We've got the positive mentality. We've had the better of the game anyway. And maybe we'll keep the ball a bit more now. Not looking the case, but A half-time 0-0, and with them having 10 men, even if we can keep them out now, this is a bonus point for us at this stage of the season. So let's get these lads motivated. Mitran's a bit nervous, which is a shame. We'll have a little individual chat with him. But even building into the FA Cup game now, as we've got him a little happier, will that mean Reece James suspended? Why is Polido taking the corner? Headed away at the back post for Gruznov, who keeps it in. Beats his man in Declan Rice. Gets across into the back post. Brought down by Polido. Oh, he scored a few with his head and tap-ins from 5 or 6 yards. He has not scored many thunderbolts from the edge of the box, and that was almost one of them. 10 minutes gone in the second half. We're all over Chelsea now. And we're going to keep encouraging these boys because they're playing really well. They're giving us plenty of threat. And at the moment, they're keeping a very good side at bay. It's another point towards safety if we get it. But can we make it 3? And can we make sure it's at least 1 as Rothwell nicks it high to Vaknin. Flying header from Roberts to recover to Mitran. Crosses block towards Vaknin. He's up again. Just over the bar. And it was a bit of a sitter that. But I'm not going to get on his back. He's had a good run of form. It's one poor effort. We're going to keep the faith with him. Ribeiro's looking nervous, so he'll come off for Lewis. Mitran's knackered and on a yellow, so Campbell on for him. I'm also looking at Castro, yellow card, a bit out of puff, so Tom Davis back to fitness on for him. Rothwell nervous. I've only really got Cater who's nervous as well, but I will do that as a straight swap. And then we'll save the last sub. Don't want to risk having to play with 10 as well. So let's just get this done. 15 to go. Encourage the lads. They're playing well here. Now, can we nick a winner and keep this point at least? As Fofana out to Morales. Chelsea still trying to play out from the back. I presume probably either to suck us in or save energy. As Rayner's got it at the back there to Havertz and Sterling. Good football. Cater flies in. Richards wins it for Lewis. Fofana clears. And Esnault picks it up on the left-hand side here. Finds Cater, sorry. Chips up to Vaknin. Lewis gets in behind. Back to Vaknin. It's got to be a penalty, referee. Vaknin's brought down 2 yards out. He's about to tap in. You have really bottled that, ref, because we all know it's a penalty kick. I'm going to take Clementson off at right back and bring on Couto. He's the slightly more attacking option there. Look at the stats, though. And I know it's a 10-man Chelsea, but we are starting to dominate games and against all levels of opposition. The tactics working as Davis nicks it high up again. Can we nick a late winner? We've had a few go against us, but Vaknin into Lewis. Get in there. 91st minute for Chris Lewis. Guy Vaknin's in good form, but he turns provider. It's so unselfish. He is in the form of his life. Lewis is becoming one hell of an impact sub. We nick a 1-0. It's win after win, and we are looking a brilliant football team. 5 clean sheets in 6, and it's a really special performance. Yes, we played over half against 10 men, but for the FA Cup quarter-final next week against the very same opposition, I am far more confident than I was before. Safety surely secured with that one. Now let's go and see if we can focus on the FA Cup. Well, we've made a little return halfway between the fixtures. Let's have a look at the reason why. We've got a youth intake. I haven't clicked on it yet. Have we got any gems coming into the club? Let's go and have a look at it. It is very below average, but there's one goalkeeper who might be okay. Magnus Ricketts, great name by the way. He is not the best for reflexes, no composure, but everything else is all right. So maybe a professional standard keeper, but that is about the worst we could have imagined. Let's go and get through to Sunday, the important matter of the FA Cup quarter-final, and how much have we put a scar on Chelsea after last week's late win. Well, here we go. Can we do it 2 weeks in a row against Chelsea? It looks like the fitness tests are all going well. Even Rodolfo's made it back properly now. So let's go and get through the fixtures. It is us away at Chelsea. Now a mid-table clash in the Premier League. But can we get through to the FA Cup semi-final? It's not been quite as influential this time around, but it is still a crucial part of our season. It's the international break after, so we don't have to worry about fitness. We don't have to worry about yellow cards or anything like that. Let's just get out the best 11 and see if we can do it. I'm going to bring Rodriguez back in at right back for Clementson. And I think that will again be the only change. Grombach returns to the bench. He will come on, I think probably for Mustafa. I'm looking at who would be best to take out. Do we bring Lewis in for Ribeiro? Yeah, why not? Let's get the youngster in for the cup tie. 2 changes made, the rest of it stays the same. It's a very solid team. Just Rodriguez and Lewis, 2 of the young stars in. Let's go and see if we can take it to Chelsea on the road and cause them some problems in the cup at Stamford Bridge. Well, here we go again then. A few changes for Chelsea, albeit it's still a pretty experienced side, but you can see a few more of their regenerated players are in. For us, though, we want to get through to the lineups and through to the dressing room, in fact, and tell the lads that we believe in them. A couple of strikers motivated. Reece James is indeed suspended after that red last week. So let's see how we get on in the first half and whether or not we can stay positive. Well, early doors, it's a Chelsea free kick, and it's the man who was sacrificed last week, Mason Mount. Good delivery, headers free for Roberts, who is absolutely brilliant at 6'5" in the air, but it is straight at the goalkeeper as we're back at the other end with Rodriguez. The big question here is, away from home at a good side, can we stay on the positive front foot, or do we have to drop off eventually as Reina tries to catch us on the counter? Does well on the left, finds Dane Scarlett, really good finish that. And with 7 minutes gone, Chelsea are ahead. There's not much you can do about it. We probably should have shown Reina down the outside. He got in a bit too easily there. In the end, it's a really good finish, and I fear we might be going a bit too aggressive here, because away from home, Chelsea are a bit different though. Mitran nicks it high up the pitch, and that's the big benefit. Lewis brings it down for Vaknin. The offside flag goes up. But again, we're pressing high, we're winning the ball, and we look a threat on the counter. We're using our strength. We've got 4 quick players playing on the wings and up front. And if we get them in behind, more often than not, we're going to cause trouble. But we'll give it 5 more minutes and then push forward again. It's only a momentary lapse here, just to try and preserve the legs and stem the tide, as Doué. Big switch of play towards Reina. It may cost us the game, this. Inside on the left again, cross to Scarlett. Good header Esnall. Lewis flicks on. No idea why he's that deep. Roberts picks it up again, out to the left. Good turn from Havertz, and Roberts again. Chelsea look up for this. Reina cuts in. Good effort just over. Half an hour gone. Chelsea on top. There's not a great deal we can do to stop them here. We're back with 5 minutes to the break. Set pieces have been better for us recently, and Pulido has been the key man behind that. That header tipped wide again. We should say this though, in fairness. When both of these sides are at their best, you would expect Chelsea to win. We took advantage last week when they weren't, and when they got a man sent off, but here, maybe it's going to be a bit trickier. At half-time, we've got a corner just before it, in fact. Mitran puts in, Fofana half away. Vaknin brings it down. On the yellow card, but finds Mitran. Chance to cut in to Pulido. Has support from Rothwell. Back to Rodriguez, and we start again with Castro. Rothwell turns again. It's good football. Through ball to Lewis. Vaknin in. Think he's just onside. They'll check it with VAR. But Guy Vaknin, he just can't stop scoring now. I don't know what's changed. We did nothing tactically. We didn't even speak to him. He's just suddenly found a goal-scoring patch, and we cannot stop the man. At half-time, it's 1-1. I'd argue that's working a bit better away at Chelsea, just coming from a deeper position. We've now had a better expected goals, more of the shots on target. And let's be honest, it's Chelsea magic that's winning them the game or equalising here. Oh, no, no, no. I was just talking about how they got lucky with a bit of magic. And then Guy Vaknin, goal-scoring hero at one end, has literally passed it to Havertz on the goal line there. I mean, set pieces has been an Achilles heel for some time, and this Chelsea side is big, as Esnall clears the ball away. Brought down again by Chelsea. We cannot afford to concede a third. Fofana finds Morales. Come on, show the confidence now. Mounts through ball intercepted by Pulido. Here's Castro to Esnall. Out to Mitran. Now get on the break. That's an awful touch. Why do we just collapse when we let in a goal? It's something we haven't often done recently. But here, we've just fallen apart though. That's a great ball from Gruznov. Lewis tries to get in. Fofana wins a very good challenge. And it's back to Sterling on the right-hand side. And Doué. Over halfway to Sterling again. Up to Mason Mount. Beats Pulido in the challenge to Havertz. Through again. This will be game over. It's a great save, Jankovic. You've got to give it to him. He is so good between the sticks this year. It's been a wonderful signing. And he keeps us in it. But it's a Mount corner. And this is where we've been problematic. Keeping out the set pieces. Good goalkeeping. There we go. 35 minutes to go. It's not been a good start to the second half. Chelsea look up for it. So let's encourage the lads. Let's go positive again. And let's try and get on this front foot. 20 to go, we'll make some changes. So at the moment, it's not been our best. We're going to take a poorly performing Richards off for Adolfo, who's returning to fitness. He's also very good in the air. So maybe one to consider switching with Pulido. I'm also looking at Gruznov on the right, who's not had the best game. I'm going to bring Grom back on for him in that aggressive role. Rothwell off for Anime Keita. I'm going to take Mitran off for Jimmy Campbell on the left. And Vaknin off up front for Ribeiro. And I think that will be the 5 changes for this game. Let's try and get on this front foot. We can go positive, we can throw the kitchen sink at them, and if it's not enough, so be it. We weren't expected to win. We've got ourselves clear in the league, we can have a free swing at this, and we tend to go, again, we're going to encourage, we're going to go attacking. Let's see if we can nick an equaliser. It doesn't look like it. It's been a decent effort, but in the end, Chelsea were playing really well in this game, and we made a couple of mistakes. We got a bit of luck against us, and unfortunately, we can't compete with that. As Jankovic gets it at the back here for Palace, and Rodolfo. 3 minutes added on. We did score late against them last week, as it switched to Campbell. Sterling wins it back for Tierney. Into Roberts, who's playing centre-half now. Across the box, and Reina brings it away for Mount. Nicked by Castro. This is the chance. Ribeiro. Lewis is in the middle if he can find him. Ribeiro does. Lewis does it again. Exactly the same as last week in stoppage time. And the FA Cup dream is not over yet. We've got 2 weeks off. I'm not worried about fitness. We're heading off to extra time, people. We are back in this tie. Chelsea have got a very experienced squad. They will be upset about this. Let's tell the lads they're doing really well. They're competing with a better side. We're going to take Castro off for Tom Davis. Fresh legs in the middle. Now let's go and get into extra time. 2-2 at Stamford Bridge. We're not as good defensively as normal. But my word, we're throwing the kitchen sink at them here. As Chelsea are back on the front foot with Chilwell. We've stayed positive here, by the way. We've not gone back to the defensive or balanced mentality. As Mount keeps the ball up again. Finds his right back and it's down the line for Tierney. They must have changed to a back five there then. As Sterling crossed the box for Mount. It's a good goal. But Havertz flicked it on, and I'm not sure if he was onside. I think he just about was. We'll see what VAR says. The referee didn't put his hand up, so the soft decision was onside. And the check in the goal review, the goal's awarded. Time for us to be aggressive again. A half-time and extra time, Chelsea regain the lead. So we'll go attacking again, we'll encourage again. We've got Esnalt on the front foot to Campbell. Back to Esnalt again and Rodolfo. But even though we're losing this game, I'm enjoying it so much more. We're playing attacking football. We're creating chances. And although we're making stupid mistakes like that, we're having a right go in games. It's fun to watch. As Davis, big ball downfield, headed away to Roberts, who goes wide. And Chelsea, what we didn't bank on is they've got a better standard of subs, haven't they? And that's making a difference here. As Sterling in from Chilwell's cross. Game over. We went attacking. It backfired this time. So let's just limit the damage. It's a balanced mentality for the last 10. It's 4-2 and Chelsea will go through now. Well, there it is. 1 minute added on. 4-2 after extra time for Chelsea. But great to see us going toe-to-toe again. They had 11 men and we forced them all the way. I'm really proud of that effort. Now let's go and get through to the schedule. See when we're going to be back. Because let's be honest, it's probably going to be quite relaxing now. And I'm certainly a fan of that after last year. Well, I'm a little bit torn on what to do here. First things first, we're going to come back for the final 2 games of the season, which ironically are Wolves and Villa again, the same as last year. But the thing I'm a little bit torn on is what we do when we secure our safety, which could ironically be in the next 2 or 3 weeks now. Is do we then start to look ahead to next season, or do we try and keep the momentum? Because I look at the team and I think, for example, Richards is in his 30s now. He's coming towards the end. He's not going to be here much longer. Do I then bring in Rodolfo and get him ready for the future? I know that might cost us a couple of results, but is it potentially worth it? The same looking up front with, do we keep Chris Lewis in for the league games? So they're the decisions we're going to have to make and the questions that I'm asking myself at the moment. But otherwise, I'm so pleased. We are well clear in the Premier League now. 8 points clear, 32 points. A shame we went out of the FA Cup, but I'm not going to complain. A really, really good spell for us. And we are at no real threat of relegation, which I couldn't have dreamt of even 7 or 8 weeks ago. So great to see Guy Vaknin in form. He could even hit double figures again this year. If you enjoyed this one and you're looking forward to hopefully a more comfortable and relaxing finish to the season, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you think I should do in terms of squad rotation if we secure survival. And if you want to stay up to date and see if we somehow fall back into trouble and what we do ahead of the summer transfer window, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time to finish off this season. In the meantime, we are back tomorrow with a big episode from our Lifting Spirits Build a Nation save. It was back yesterday with a brand new season. You can find that up in the eye above. Up there as well is the Twitch channel, the football podcast and the blog story as well. I'll see you back here for the finale and a big plan ahead for the summer.